Welcome back. In the southern part of the United States, the drought continues. And this week, we're continuing our series on how Purina's sustained nutrition is helping farmers and ranchers cope. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Sharon Alseth has more from South Texas.
We're a commercial Brangus operation that primarily focuses on seed stock and replacement females. We retain ownership in our Brangus steers through the feed yard, and we rely on a lot of artificial insemination for genetic improvement in our herd.
Brandon says his operation puts a lot of thought and work into their genetics program, and they want to safeguard that investment for the future.
I truly believe that if we can protect the program that we've worked so hard to build, I think that will actually step us up and make our genetics more sought after in the cattle that we raise. I think that our marketing opportunities are going to be really tremendous, and I think with the future in the calf prices and feeder calves, and the fact that we have generated so much effort into the genetics that we put into our cow herd to perform in all levels, I believe we'll be protecting our investment and make our business much better.
Over the years, Brandon has worked with his Purina representative on a long-term plan to aid in his cattle's fertility, reproduction, and growth by using the Purina Sustained Nutrition Program.
Sustained nutrition is something that we've really focused on in the last few years because the fact of the matter is there's really good research out these days that indicates that keeping that cow in a body condition score 5 to 6 on a year-round basis makes a lot of sense, not just from the health and the growth of the calf after it's born, but some of the effects that we're seeing from the fetal programming side of things. If we take better care of that cow during pregnancy, that calf's got a better chance of being healthy and a better chance of growing optimally after it hits the ground. But by the same token, we're also thinking about the cow health and her performance as well. She's in better shape when she has that baby. She's going to get up off the ground faster, the calf's going to nurse quicker, and she's also going to breed back faster when we try to breed her back the next time.
Brandon's use of the Sustained Nutrition Program is paying off in other ways, as his operation and the rest of Texas endure historic drought. During a normal year, the Wolf Point Ranch would get 40 to 45 inches of rainfall.
So far this year, we've gotten around 5 to 7 inches. So we're definitely behind our normal rainfall. The growing conditions have been really tough, and we've also gone through some extreme heat that we're not normally used to dealing with. Has been a really big challenge for us in our cow herds, and have required us to take on different management practices.
It takes a while to really figure out just how bad it is, but the fact of the matter is it's been bad for a while. So taking that into account, you have to make some pretty tough decisions. And really the approach that I've always taken when it comes to drought management is this kind of a 3-step process. Number 1, cull your slackers. Get rid of the cows that really needed to probably go anyway. That's cows with bad bags, bad eyes, bad feet, bad attitudes. The cow that always tears the pens down, it's time for her to go. The other thing you do is you get rid of open cows. It doesn't make sense to feed open cows through a drought. It's too expensive if you're not going to get a return on that investment. The other thing is, if you have to cull further, cull the cows that calve late. Cull the cows that are always kind of at that last end. They're at the tail end of the calving season every time. They're weaning the lightest calves every time, and that just kind of perpetuates itself anyhow.
Chance says operations coping with the drought should also start evaluating the size of their cows. And if forage is a limiting factor, they should consider using Purina's AccuRation Forage Extender program.
It allows for us to substitute the forage they would normally be getting because we're actually adding roughage to our AccuRation product in that particular case. So now we're talking about a program that actually meets the cow requirement like it's supposed to, so we can achieve sustained nutrition, but instead of them getting roughage from the pasture or hay, we can provide some of that roughage from the AccuRation product itself. Like here at Wolf Point, for instance, we're using the AccuRation Forage Extender program, which has worked really well to sustain nutrition on not only its cows, but its growing heifers and those sorts of things where we've got a forage shortage.
One thing that we've really seen with the feeds is our ability to, one, provide a constant plan of nutrition. We've been able to rely on on the intake, on the intake modifiers. We've been able to save labor, and we've been able to protect our investment into the growth of the genetics in our herd.
We also have other programs that if you do have some forage stored, whether it's stored pasture or whether it's hay that you've put together through the good years, you can continue to rely on the AccuRation liquid program to get by on that, which again, that's more of a supplementation program to your forage base if you've got the forage to do that. So it kind of just really depends on whether or not you have the forage through the drought. If you do, you can continue supplementation. If you don't, you need to institute substitution with a program like AccuRation Forage Extender.
Welcome back. Let's return to South Texas and reporter Sharon Alseth, who's learning about drought management and Purina's sustained nutrition program.
Along with overall herd management, the Purina programs are also helping Brandon save on labor costs.
We run with fewer employees, so in using the Purina's products with the intake modifiers and sustained nutritions, we feel really confident that whenever we take and put bulk feed out in front of our cattle, that they're just not going to go in and overconsume. I feel really confident that I can hit my targets based on different products that we can use. It's been a major labor savings for us.
If you have a good drought program that relies upon itself from a self-fed standpoint, then what you're really saying there is I can get my cows through this drought without having to get more labor to get these cows through the drought. The other piece of that is whatever self-fed program you institute during a drought needs to be predictable enough that it's going to keep them in a sustained nutrition state.
Both Brandon and Chance say one of the important things to consider during a drought is whether your current management programs make sense for your operation.
And what I mean by that is begin with the end in mind. Don't just start out by saying, well, I'm going to do this program and not really know what the end result's going to be. Any program that you put in place, nutritional program, genetic program, health program, needs to be predictable, that you know what your investment is going to result in, because input costs are too high today to shoot from the hip. So during these drought situations, it even kind of exacerbates that problem of shooting from the hip. You can no longer shoot from the hip. You need to make sure that every decision you make is a good business decision. Do your best to take the emotion out of it and begin with the end in mind.
I don't know if I'm a step ahead of the drought or not, but I do know in the planning that the Purina feeds have made it very easy for me to implement the feeds. I feel real confident in where we're going to go with this. I've been a long-term customer. We know the performance that we get out of the feed, and the availability of good resources right now, high quality and etc. I know that I can provide a high quality form of nutrition to our cattle that will allow us to move in deeper into the drought and hopefully at some point get this drought broke.
Reporting from Port Lavaca, Texas, I'm Sharon Alseth for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information about Purina's sustained nutrition programs, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.